Yo, what's up guys? Universal Mastery. So what I do on my channel is I break down the occult sciences to an extremely practical level so that you can use them and apply them in your day-to-day life. Now, what I'm going to be talking about in today's video is something that I'm sure tons of people want to know about, and it's something that I find fascinating, something that I for sure would have found fascinating, to hear from somebody else if I didn't know, the nature of the subject that I'm going to be talking about today. Now, what I'm going to be talking about in today's video is successful and unsuccessful religions. So basically what I mean by that is which religions have more success and which religions don't really have good outcomes, don't have success, are unsuccessful. Okay, and then after I share some of this information with you, you can observe this in your day-to-day life or do your own research yourself and see if you're coming to the same conclusions as I am. But I've definitely noticed this in my day-to-day life. Okay, so without further ado, if you want to know about successful and unsuccessful religions, then stay tuned for the rest of this video. The first thing I want to say is definitely make sure you go and you check out the Patreon. On the Patreon, I have exclusive content that is not on my YouTube channel. Half of that content is going to be geared towards actual spiritual practices where I perform them myself and I teach you how to perform them yourself so that you get 110% success rate as long as you're consistent with it. Okay, the other half of the videos are going to be geared towards educational entertainment, which is a video that is entertaining, but you're also getting a lot of value from the video, very similar to a video like this. And there's some extra stuff on my Patreon as well in the nature of live streams. You gain access to be able to communicate with me whenever you want through message. I'm also going a little bit more in depth with the occult on my Patreon as well. So in order to gain access to these exclusive videos, you have to at least be a tier 2 member or up. In order to be a tier 2 member, it literally costs $9.95 a month, and that is a reoccurring payment. So there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be able to afford that with the value that I have on my Patreon. As you go up in tiers, the benefits go up as well, so definitely make sure you check it out and look at those benefits. I'll let you check that out for yourself. And I would love to give a special shout out to the very top tier members of the Patreon. Their names are going to be mentioned in the parentheses below the Patreon link. So where you're going to be able to find the Patreon link is when you go to the description of the video, you're going to click that drop down. It's going to be the very first link at the top. Right next to it, it says My Patreon. That's where you'll find that link. And once again, huge shout out to the top tier members. Okay? Other than that, let's go right into this video. So what are the most successful religions and what are the most unsuccessful religions? Okay? So here we go. So let me explain to you which religions that I'm going to cover in this video. So the religions that I'm going to cover is Christianity. I'm going to cover Buddhism. I'm going to cover Wicca, paganism. I'm going to cover Luciferianism. And I'm going to cover Islam. Okay, these are the 5 religions that I'm going to cover. I know there's other religions. I'm not going to be going into that in today's video. This is based off the research I know. This is what I feel comfortable talking about because I definitely have knowledge on these subjects. And I've seen the success and the unsuccess from these religions that I'm about to explain to you guys. So let's start with Christianity. So Christianity is going to be one of those religions that is not that successful. I'm going to explain this to you from my own personal experience and from seeing it in other people's experience. I was a Christian in my past. I've definitely learned things from it. Don't get me wrong. You can definitely learn things from going into things that set you up for failure or going through things that are not in your best interest. You can learn from those things. I'm a huge advocate for that. But essentially, to give you the main foundation of Christianity, there's just so much contradiction. It's based on, worshiping and pretty much an all-powering deity or entity that is omnipresent, omnipotent, and is the one and only that rules everything. But at the same time, you look at our reality today, and there's tons of chaos, there's tons of demonic forces, and there's just tons of stuff that can lead you in traps and essentially can put you in a living hell on earth. And then you would ask yourself the question, okay, well, you know, if there's this one entity coming from the Christian belief that wants the best for me and is looking out for me, then why is, you know, and he's as powerful as Christianity says he is, why is there hell on earth? Why is there demonic forces? Why is there demonic hierarchies? Why are there pedophiles? Why are there people that murder other people and people that hate on other people and just literally go out of their way to harm others for no intentional reasons? Or maybe not no intentional reason, but no, you could say good reason. Like why is there this level of chaos in our society? And that's a contradiction within itself. And that's one of the reasons why this religion is not successful. And personally, there's a lot of traps in Christianity, and this is one of those religions that was specifically created to get people into a mind frame to fear the demonic hierarchies and to fear the real actual truths of life, in the context of if you study them or if you try to dive into these deeper truths of life, you're sinning and it's evil and it's wrong. And there are other people in our, you could say, society that are higher ups, have more knowledge, and are feeding off of that low vibration that this religion creates for you. So, you know, that's one reason why this religion is not successful. It's kind of like a booby trap. Doesn't mean it. Now, what I'm saying doesn't mean that there's not Christians out there that are good people, that have good intentions. That's not true at all. I have a lot of friends that are Christians. I have a lot of loved ones that are Christians. But at the end of the day, it's not the most successful religion. At the end of the day, I mean, you know, there's no sugarcoating on my channel. It just is not. Once again, there's a lot of great Christians out there. There's also a lot of fucked up ones that I'd never want to be around. But regardless, if you're looking for power, you're looking for development, you're looking for knowledge, understanding, wisdom, Christianity is not the religion. Then we can look at Jesus, and Jesus was this essentially psychic man, powerful man, could heal people, could remove problems from people, but his end result was being crucified on the cross. So that alone should say enough. Yes, he essentially rose from the dead, but you know, that's part of the Christianity religion, where it's, I guess you're supposed to live kind of like a shitty life on earth. I mean, his entire existence was helping, and then crucified, and then he got to pretty much live in heaven. And he came down to let people know that there is an afterlife and that, you know, there is a heaven. But that doesn't seem like the kind of lifestyle or religion that I want to abide by, where I live a shitty life here and I'm having to have a certain level of faith that there's an afterlife that's much better, when in reality, from what I know, from my knowledge, my own size, is not true at all. And this is part of where this booby trap comes into, to make people live shitty lives on earth so they can be fed upon by, you could say, entities that feed upon that energy, and then give it to the people that have set up these constructs. Okay, so there's Christianity. So we're going to put a big X on that. That's not a religion that you really want to fall into. Now let's talk about Buddhism. Okay, Buddhism is very big, and I'm covering these very briefly, but I'm getting right to the point, so that's what matters. So Buddhism is a religion where you essentially want to reach nirvana. You essentially want to kind of dissolve into source to a certain degree, and experience states of you could say like inner bliss. But a lot of it is geared towards separation from society to experience that level of bliss, because you're essentially separating yourself from the challenges, from the living hell on earth, or you could say the matrix itself. So you're still, it's like it's almost like you're removing yourself from the matrix. So that you don't have to experience what most people experience. You don't have to go through the hardship that most people experience, and all things in that nature. So that can work to a certain degree. I mean, it's true. If you avoid reality, and you do meditation and you focus on your spirituality, you can reach inner knowings and you can reach states of comfort and states of bliss for sure. That's naturally what meditation does. Our bodies are geared towards that. But if you're removing yourself from reality, trying to avoid these issues, and you're stepping away from the matrix, you're never going to master the matrix. You're never going to be a ruler. You're never going to be a king. You're never going to be an emperor. You're never going to be someone who can create their own reality, because you're not going to be even abiding by the matrix. You're not even going to be playing in the game, so to speak. So you're essentially just going to kind of just separate yourself and pretty much live a lonely life. Maybe you'll feel comfort in regards to what other people may feel that are in the matrix and are ignorant and don't know what's going on, don't worry about their spirituality, and are living a, existing in a living hell. It's a better outcome to be a Buddhist and separate yourself from society in those regards. But if you're trying to reach ultimate power, you're trying to reach your highest potential and create the lifestyle that you want to live, and learn as much as you can about the laws of nature and how you can operate here on earth, and essentially create your empire and live and exist from your own kingdom here on earth, and learn about what's going to happen after you pass, so that you can really you could say squeeze every drop out of your life and make sure that you did everything you possibly can to live your best life. Then Buddhism is not the route that you want to take, because you're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to master the matrix, because you're going to separate yourself from it and essentially reach that state of nirvana, which is something that you can reach, once again, from meditation. You can reach states of nirvana, and that's you can reach those types of states while still being in the matrix. Yes, it's a little bit harder. It requires a little bit more challenge, but that's a part of the process. And then to connect it back to the figure or the avatar from the Buddha religion, the Buddhist religion, Buddha ended up dying under a tree. He was poisoned. So the avatar itself is pretty much saying, everything that you need to know. So, if you're an all-powerful being, and nirvana is the ultimate way to go, why, you can ask yourself the question, why did Buddha die? Okay, why was he poisoned? If you're that powerful, you should be able to transmute those types of diseases and really live a life that's completely fulfilling, not live under a tree overweight and then die from poison. So take that as an example. Once again, I'm not saying for any of these religions, I'm not saying just because I'm going to put an X on this one that there's not great Buddhists out there. I'm not saying that you can't learn from people that are Buddhists. You can learn so much. They have a lot of knowledge, but I don't agree. I would never devote my soul or my purpose to being a Buddhist, to this religion, because of what the outcome will put me in. And that's just a fact. And that's what I'm going to share with my audience. I'm not going to sugarcoat shit. There's a lot of people that would try to avoid this topic or avoid this video because they're afraid of what other people are going to think. Fuck that. Okay, I'm going to give you guys exactly what you need to hear. So now let's talk about Islam. Okay, so you have Muhammad, and then Muhammad, you could say the deity that Muhammad pretty much is being empowered by or guided by is Allah. And this is an interesting one, because if you look at Muhammad as the avatar of this religion, then you would realize that he ended up having a lot of power, and he ended up having multiple wives, because in that religion you can have multiple wives. And he also had money, and he had people that respected him because of his power. So Islam in its nature is a good religion, because it doesn't tell you the same things about like sinning in regards to what Christianity, in regards to how Christianity speaks about it. There are certain things as an Islam that you want to avoid. Like I know for a fact pork is one of those things. And there's just little things here and there that in that religion you want to avoid during certain times, or certain types of foods, or whatever it is. I know there's a period of fasting, which can be very beneficial. But the nature of Islam is actually pretty powerful because of the mindset that comes with it. So instead of with Christianity, when you have enemies, when enemies attack you in Christianity, they tell you to turn your cheek and pray for your enemy. And like pray good things for them, which is a recipe for disaster. You're setting yourself up to be demolished, because by the human nature, that's not how we operate, and you will get fucked over. It's survival of the fittest at the end of the day, and you want to develop power. And if you have someone that is surviving and you're surviving, and they think that they need something or they need to get over on you to survive better, and you turn your cheek and pray for them so that they can do that, you're setting yourself up for disaster. Islam, on the other hand, tells you to slaughter your enemies like dogs. Okay, Muhammad slaughtered his enemies like dogs. He was ruthless. His mindset was ruthless, and he did what he needed to do to gain power, but he also had a strong faith, which was connected to Allah, which you could say is a deity within itself. You know, do I think Allah is the most powerful deity there is? Absolutely not. I think most of the power that comes from Islam is from the mindset, from the avatar of Muhammad, the way you act, the principles that you abide by, the type of attitude that you have. I think that's definitely it. So when it comes to Islam, I would definitely say that's a pretty powerful religion. You know, if you can adopt this type of ruthless mindset to achieve what it is that you're here to achieve, to make sure your loved ones are taken care of, you can be very successful like that. Is it the most effective route to take? I don't think so. I have different beliefs. Do I think there's a lot of Islams that fully embody the power of what Muhammad represented? Absolutely not. Have I seen people that represent that mindset and those principles? Yes, I have. So it's definitely more likely to be successful as a person, as a human being, as the being you are, in the religion of Islam rather than Buddhist or Christianity. Okay, so Islam, I'll give a thumbs up because of the principles, because of the attitude, because of the mindset. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. That's a thumbs up. The next one we're going to be talking about is Wicca, pagan. Okay, so essentially Wiccans are people that listen to Mother Nature, and they want to heal Earth. They feel like they're here as like Earth healers, like people that are very important to heal the Earth and make sure the Earth is okay and things like that. And the truth is, with paganism, yes, there is knowledge and there is power within paganism and Wicca, but and when I say most of them, I mean like 99.9% end up being light workers, because they're so concerned with healing, and then they end up getting fucked over because there's not that much power from that perspective. So people that think they need to heal the Earth and that it's their main priority and that healing is the main priority, that's not true, because Mother Nature, and pretty much their main deity, their main worship, the main deity that they worship as a Wicca is Mother Nature, or Gaia, which represents Mother Nature. And although Mother Nature, yes, can be powerful, you can utilize Mother Nature for sure, 110%. But at the end of the day, Mother Nature knows how to take care of itself, and it doesn't need your help. Okay, at the end of the day, and I've worked with Mother Nature. I work with Mother Nature, meaning it works in my life. I've developed myself to connect with Source enough that I have the understanding, the knowledge, and knowing that I don't need to do anything for Mother Nature. Mother Nature works on itself. The more I develop myself the proper way, the more it's going to emanate to Mother Nature. So I focus on my self-development and how I'm, interacting with people around me, focusing on the state of mind that I'm in, and that does everything that needs to happen for evolution to take place. And this is where black magic definitely comes in the picture. But staying on topic here, a lot of Wiccans and pagans end up essentially being light workers because they're all concerned about healing, and they're all concerned about healing things that really don't need healing. Like, once again, Mother Nature knows how to take care of itself. It doesn't need you to be doing spells or rituals to heal it, okay? It needs you to focus on you. And through the process of self-development and self-healing, you got to go through some dark shit. That's just a fact. You have to embrace the shadow. You have to embrace the demonic side of life. It's just a fact. There's light and dark. And to be quite real, light comes from darkness. So if you don't understand or embrace darkness, you will never reach your highest potential. It's just a fact. Wiccan and pagans, they don't really get too far. They usually end up burning out, and then they sometimes they'll convert to Christians. Sometimes they'll just be light workers, and you don't really get too far with that. And once again, I think it can be a trap. I think you can burn yourself out to a point where you think you're doing like such great work or whatever, and because you're channeling spirits or whatever. But you gotta really know what you're channeling, and you want to pay attention to that, because just because you're able to channel something doesn't mean it's something that's in your best interest. So I feel like what I've noticed is a lot of light workers channel all types of spirits, and they don't really know exactly what spirits they're channeling, and they're getting all this information, but I don't see them taking too much action, and I don't see any extremely successful light workers. I don't see any. And if I do see some that have some success, meaning maybe they have a YouTube channel, or maybe they have, or wherever they are, they don't seem like they're that happy. They seem like there's a void in them, and they seem like there's some dissatisfaction with what they're doing. Like, I can sense that. So, this is just my own observation. So Wicca, I'm going to put an X on. I don't think Wicca or paganism, I'm going to put an X on that. Once again, can you learn from people that are Wicca? Can you learn from pagans? Yes, you totally can. And you definitely want to, be open-minded for whatever experiences that you may have with any of these different religions that I'm mentioning, because there are truths in all of these different pathways and all these different religions. But would I personally dedicate my purpose and my soul and my mind and spirit to paganism or Wicca? No, I wouldn't. Okay, so I'm going to put an X on that one. I don't think you'll get too much success from that religion. Now, let's talk about Luciferianism. Okay, so I am partially a Luciferian. So what exactly is a Luciferian? A Luciferian is someone who has deep connections with Lucifer and with the current of Lucifer. Some of us have made contracts with Lucifer. Some of us have made deals with Lucifer. Some of us have made pacts with Lucifer, which pretty much all come in the same category. Some of us respect Lucifer, worship Lucifer. The word worship means respect. If you search the definition of worship, it really means respect. So some of us worship Lucifer, some of us do, work with Lucifer, like, pretty heavily. So I would definitely say I am partially a Luciferian. And the reason why I say partially is because I work with a lot of spirits when it comes to the demonic hierarchy, and I don't only just work with Lucifer. A part of me definitely is a Luciferian. I have made a pact with Lucifer. He works heavily in my life. Matter of fact, the little logo you see down there, that's his sigil. You see him on every single one of my YouTube videos. And that has to do with part of my pact with him. He's been a great spirit in my life. He's an extremely powerful spirit. So with Luciferianism in general, there are certain principles that you go by, and a lot of it is all geared towards just being your best self, seeing reality the way it really is. Remember, the essence of Lucifer was that he didn't agree with God, the Christian God. He didn't agree with turning his cheek when, your enemies attack you. He didn't agree with the things that God was saying. He saw the contradictions within that religion. So he, essentially was kicked out of heaven, and he went down to hell, which is known to be the shadow of the tree of life, which is the Qliphoth. And now he rules the Qliphoth. That story may not be true necessarily of God kicking him out of hell. I don't think it's true, but I think that's a metaphor of how the essence or the spiritual energy of Lucifer as being that rebel who sees society for the way that it actually is, and is not going to be played by anyone, and is going to reach ultimate power, doing whatever it is that he needs to do to reach that. And also, taking care of your loved ones, making sure that you are coming from a place of, you could say, genuineness, making sure that you are living the life that you want to live, and that you reach satisfaction doing that, and making sure your loved ones are protected, making sure you're protected, and just bringing in lots of success, wealth, money, happiness, whatever it is that you really want to your life. So let's take a look at some real results of Luciferianism. So definitely, Sorry, I just had to look at my camera. It's flashing right now. I just want to make sure it's not going to cut off on me. So Luciferianism, you look at, all these A-list celebrities that have made deals with Lucifer or work with Lucifer. And most of these successful people that you see in Hollywood, the music industry, the movie industry, definitely, West California has a very strong Luciferian current. All that success that these people are gaining, most of these people are operating on a Luciferian current. So once again, when it comes to like the A-list celebrities, and then A-list celebrities, movies, movie producers, actors, musicians, artists, all of these things. A lot of these people have connections with Lucifer. Some are going to be subconscious, and some of them are actually doing ritual and doing workings with them. More so in the subconscious realm, it's like, for example, you have an artist. An artist signs a deal with a label. The label uses a Luciferian current. And when I say they use a Luciferian current, I mean that there are people that are in that label or that own that label that are actually practitioners of Luciferianism, meaning they work with Lucifer, and meaning they have knowledge. So what they do is they place the symbolism of the Luciferian current in the music videos or in the movies, so that it can create effects in physical reality. So it's basically making a ritual out of music videos, out of movies, TV shows. That's why you see all of the symbolism. And even when it comes to consumerism, there's so much occult symbolism out there. So when you look at Luciferianism from an objective standpoint, these guys have money, these guys have power, they have success. But it does get a little iffy because not all of them are completely satisfied, because some of them are being fed the wrong information and they're not actually working with Lucifer the way that you should if you want to reach the highest levels of power, or reach the highest levels of understanding and wisdom, which comes from personally just working with Lucifer and gaining your own knowledge, gaining your own relationship, gaining your own connection. A lot of these guys got into Luciferianism, and a lot of these girls got into Luciferianism through other people that said that they know how to do the rituals, or they have a group or an order that knows how to initiate you, and you have to do it this way, and if you don't do it this way, then you're going to be fucked. And these people are feeding tons of false information. They may think that what they're saying is true, but I mean, the most powerful way to gain success with working with Lucifer is just saying, be fucking fearless, fucking summon Lucifer and work with him and tell him what it is that you want, and be ready to go and achieve those things, because your life will shift and things will happen. You will go through intense stages of development to achieve those things. But once again, from an objective standpoint, Luciferianism does reap a lot of fucking rewards when it comes to fame, success, money, the lifestyle that you want to live. There's tons of people out there that are Luciferians that are completely satisfied with their life, satisfied with everything that they've brought into their life. So Luciferianism, I would definitely give a thumbs up. And also, just to throw this in, when you get into Luciferianism, Lucifer being the main deity, that connects you very quickly and strongly to the infernal hierarchy. Now, if you're being fed the wrong information from other people that are telling you how to work with Lucifer and how to do it the right way, they may say, oh, don't work with these other spirits, just work with Lucifer, whatever. I don't know what they're saying, but maybe it's something in that nature. I'm sure it is. But if you do it wisely, then you will listen to that guidance that Lucifer is giving you and work with other spirits that can teach you different mechanisms and different avenues of self-development. And then you literally enter into the infernal hierarchies and you start to become your own deity, your own androgynous deity, and really establish a connection with your own divine intelligence, which is your daemon. It's known to be your daemon. Which is an extremely powerful thing, and that's what was known as accomplishing the great work. So so that's that. That's a lot. That's a big thing when it comes to Luciferianism. You can go down a path with Luciferianism that really changes your life and really opens you up to the deeper truths of life, because the essence and the spirit of Lucifer is that rebel mentality to say, everyone said don't do this, let me experience it for myself, and then have my own perspective on it. Okay, so I think I shared enough on this video. I definitely hope I offered some clarity, and I'm sure I did. So I'm gonna leave it here. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely, if you did, hit the thumbs up to this video. I would really appreciate it. Then come down here, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. I think it's like right next to it or right below it, because I post videos as often as I can. And I guarantee you, if you hit that notification bell, I will post a video that is exactly what you need to hear when you needed to hear it. Okay, because that's what I do, because I'm operating from that place. I'm coming from that space of spirit where I'm not monitoring what I'm saying. I'm monitoring it. I know what I need to say. I let it come out. Okay, I'm not afraid of what other people are going to think of me. I'm not afraid of what could happen to me. I'm untouchable. What I say needs to be said. That's the perspective I'm coming from. That's also what offers the most value to you guys. So that's what I do. Okay, so definitely do that. And remember, the Patreon, when you hit the description drop down, it's that first link right there. So definitely make sure you check that out if you want to take this occult practice and study and knowledge to a deeper level. Then go to the second link below. It's going to take you to the Facebook community. On the Facebook community, there's going to be a pinned post at the top that says private group. Click that, request to join. Once I get 50 people in the private group, then I'm going to be posting on there consistently. Okay, I'm going to be posting in the form of pictorial quotes, and I'm going to be posting in the form of written. Okay, so definitely make sure you request to join that. But other than that, once again, guys, I'm going to leave it here. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.